how to price your coaching program. So we're gonna go over everything A to Z in this. So it's gonna apply to you if you're just starting out. Also, if you've been in business for a while, you look at, can I increase prices? We're gonna go over the process to do that so you know exactly what to do here. So without further ado, let's jump in. Quick proof so you actually trust what I'm saying. My name is Jack Bly, built a 7-figure online coaching business. I also helped quite a few guys start and grow their coaching business. Like Sam went from 10K a month to 65K a month. Mike went from 0 to 28K a month. Ricky went from about 13K to I think 52K a month. There should be a screenshot to whatever the real numbers are on the screen. But with that said, let's go ahead, let's dive in here. So first things first, if you are starting out, this might sound very scary to you. You want to start at a price range. This is the lower range of prices, 1.5K to 2.8K for your coaching program. All right, this is usually a 3 to 6 month package. And a lot of people are going to hear this, especially if you're new, this definitely would freak me out. You're like, holy crap, that's a lot of money. Like scary. And let's cover the psychology of this quickly because it's very important. Because if you have these limiting beliefs, you think this is a lot of money, it's too much to charge, you're obviously going to struggle to charge this amount. So the psychology, your personal psychology is very important here. The only reason you would like freak out over these, numbers on a screen is because you have not invested this into a coaching program yourself. Like that's the truth. If you have, then you're like, oh yeah, like that's pretty standard. Like it's probably on the low end. Like I've invested into, multiple 5-figure coaching programs. So these are very low range of prices for a coaching program. So I know that. I've personally experienced it. Like I've invested in it. But if you haven't invested in it, and you're asking other people to invest in your program that costs as much, it kind of like makes sense why you would freak out. You're like, oh, like I don't know who'd spend that. Like I wouldn't. Like, so you're kind of in a bad psychology situation there. And so let's kind of go over some things to kill some of those limiting beliefs that are stopping you right now. All right, so the first one is a limiting belief that people will say like, oh, well, I want to be affordable and I don't want to charge too high ticket and like blah, blah, blah. But the truth is like, let's be real, you should be targeting, higher income countries, probably like US, Canada, UK, etc. And everyone can afford this amount if you have like a decent full-time job. Like everyone can. Like that, like this is not that much money. It's not, like truthfully, like you have to be in a really bad financial situation if you can't afford this. Like you're in a terrible financial position. Because what we're selling here, the big three, you want to be in like the health, relationships, or wealth niche. And these are all just like massively impactful areas of your life. Like these are like transformational. Like they will change everything for you. Like your health, for example, if someone loses, 50 pounds, all of a sudden they have way more energy. They're happier. Their mood every single day is higher. Like how much is that worth? It might improve their marriage. They have more libido now. It could improve their work life. They could get a promotion because they have more focus, more energy. So that's health. Relationships, obviously a big one. Or if you help someone find their future wife or save their marriage, it's on the brink of divorce, but you save it. Or if you help someone overcome divorce in this really low spot. Those are like that's valuable. Like money at the end of the day is just like it's money. Like people, these are stuff that are so valuable to people. Wealth as well. Wealth is a simple one because it's simple dollar for dollars. Hey, I'll easily pay you 10K if you can help making me 30, 50K. Like it's a no-brainer. That's the first thing you have to understand is like your services are extremely valuable, way beyond these price points. Like even with these price points, we're undercharging for the value we're providing. Right? That's the whole aim here. All right, so that's a big limiting belief one to tackle that. But with that said, like that's a big psychology you need to have. This is where you want to start out in the lower ranges if you're starting out. And you want to have also a killer risk reversal. So since you're starting out, you probably don't have client results yet. For this, how you can kind of increase confidence without the client results is having a risk reversal. So typical one I recommend, this is probably my favorite, my go-to is a free trial. So this would be offering, 7 days free access to the program, and they can basically try it out risk-free. All right, this works really well to get guys, over the line, who are on the fence. It's a really good lead magnet, right? Because they can literally try it out, like literally experience it. And for this, you obviously you want to go ham on fulfillment. Like you want to be like an all-star coach, like there every step of the way, like over deliver like crazy. So obviously they opt in, and it's also going to help you on the fulfillment side of things because you're learning what works, what doesn't work, and you're learning how can I provide really high value service because these people, I want them to obviously opt in and pay me. All right, so that works really well. There's other stuff that you can do like a money back guarantee, double money back guarantee. There's other stuff you can do, but that's the premise of it. If you're starting out, and then here's the general price points you want to get to in the future. So for health, you want to get to at least 2.5 to 5K. right? At least. I've seen guys do even high. I have one of my guys who charges 10K for his program, so it definitely is possible to do higher. But this is the general price point when it gets you to really be a lot more scalable and profitable on ads. So if you want to charge, or if you want to get to 100K months plus, you definitely want to get to these price points. All right, relationship, about 3 to 6K at least is that price range. And I say at least for all these because you could do more, but these are like generally, we have to at least get to these numbers to reasonably be able to scale. Wealth, this one's pretty easy, should be at least 5 to 9K at least. I've seen guys do price more than this, but this is a pretty good general range right here. All right, so you're probably watching this, you're either starting out and okay, I should probably price a point here, or I want to get to these price points. So if you're obviously in one of these niches and you've been in this for a little while and trying to see, okay, how can I increase price? How can I get here to this range at least? All right, here's how to increase price. So with increasing price, you only want to make data-driven decisions, and this is really the only thing you want to do in business is make data-driven decisions. Hopefully, you can have a huge paradigm shift here, because most coaches don't track any metrics. They have no numbers, no KPIs, and they're just all over the place. They have nothing to go off. They just go off of emotional decision making. It doesn't make any sense. There's no rationality. And so what we do, how we increase price, is we're making data-driven decisions. How we do that is we want to track your sales calls, basically. I'll show you my database for an example of how you can track this in a minute, but you basically want to have a 30 call sample size. So you want to take at least 30 calls. That's a solid sample size. And we're looking at the only position where you do want to increase price is if your close rate is above 30% and or your day one cash collected is 50% plus. All right, so if you're closing 30% plus, or your cash collected is, you're collecting at least 50% plus on average of all your deals closed. All right, so that tells you can increase price, and we usually do it by 1K. But you could do it if you're a little bit on the fence, you're a little bit, skeptical, you could do it by 500 technically. Or usually do it by 1K. All right, then basically once you do that, you increase price, you run another 30 calls, and you basically look at the metrics, and you repeat. All right, so I'm gonna show you my sales call database, like how you track this, and also the golden KPI to look for here. So let me go ahead and pull this up right here. So this is an example of what it looks like. This is mine. I just created a new month. So for example, we have this table up here, which tracks a bunch of cool metrics. And then all I'm inputting is down here. So we say name with their profile. So they'll put their social profile here so I can quickly access them. Source, so this would be, whatever channel they came from. And then the cool things that we actually track here is show, close, offer. And so for example, I put 1 and this tracks it as a show up. So let's say, for this example, we're gonna worry about show rate. We're just gonna say everyone showed up. So we'll do that. All right, so we have 100% show rate, which is pretty killer. But then close here, let's say we have let's get to about that 34%. All right, so 32%, that's fine. And then I'll go ahead and drag down these zeros right here. Cool. So we have a 32% close rate right now. And so based off these numbers, this is a 30% close rate is the solid metric we do want to get to. If you're over that, that tells us, okay, we could probably increase prices here. And it has to be over the sample size. So you can't make decisions if we only have, let's say this many calls. We only have 8 calls. And you're this will happen sometimes, guys go on winning streaks and they win 8 calls in a row would be a lot. They win 5 calls in a row and they're this is amazing. This price point is awesome. Let me definitely increase prices again, right now. Now, it's not a good sample size of the thing. 5 people is a very small sample size. It's just as likely that you take 5 or 10 calls in a row and you close none, and then you close the next 5 in a row. So there can be streaks in data. So it's really important. You want to have a good sample size. All right, so 30 is the number that we determined that, hey, this is a solid sample size, gives us enough room for variance, for up and downs, for it to actually even out here. All right, so basically you track this over at least 30 calls, and you want to track close rate. And then the other thing you want to track is cash collected percentage. And so for this, for example, we have 2 big columns here, which is total deal and then 30-day cash. Let's say total deal. Let's say this is, for simplicity, we'll say 10K. And so we're going to put this in on all the closes here. And then for everyone else who didn't close, we're going to put 0. Done. And then 30-day cash, let's say this is, let's say this is just, 5K for everyone. We're at that 50% mark. Okay, so once we input that data, what we can see here is basically we have cash collected percentages at the 50% mark, total cash, we have total revenue, all this stuff. Average 30 cash is 5K. All right, so all these different metrics, and again, the big ones that we're looking at here, let me go back to this. Big ones we're looking at is close rate and then also day one cash collected. All right, so technically on this one, I'm tracking 30-day cash, but you want to track day one cash collected for that percentage. Based on these metrics, these are your metrics right here, and it looks similar to this, or a lot of guys even close a lot higher than this. Like I've seen a lot of coaches, one of them I'm working with right now, Sam is literally closing like 40 to 30%. We're gonna have to increase price for him again because he's closing too much. If your close rate is too high, you want to increase prices because it tells us, hey, like, there's a ton of people opting in. Like you have massive arbitrage. You're offering a really good deal here, so let's increase prices. And so what we're seeing right here, I would go ahead and I would increase prices to, let's say 11K for this offer. Increase price by 1K, and you basically want to run another sample set of 30 calls. All right, and then you're tracking the big metric you can use to track is this average dollar per call. All right, so this basically tracks, how much is one call worth to you. And in this example, we're getting, 3.2K back. And so we basically want to track this against, 30 calls on the next test and see, okay, did this number increase or did it decrease? Because technically what could happen is close rate could decrease when we increase price. Like let's say this goes down to 30%, which is a small decrease. But we upped the price by 1K, so like a 10% price increase. So technically we could net more money, more profit, but the close rate could decrease. So that's why this is a really important metric to measure, because it tells you the truth. It tells you, are you making more money or not? Because that's the number one thing that matters, not just close rate. All right, so that's how you test this. So really make sure you have a database like this, you're tracking things, you have everything nailed down, because you want to make data-driven decisions. You don't want to make emotional decisions here. All right, that's why I said golden KPI is dollars per call to compare prices. You can basically repeat this process over and over again until you get that golden zone. You're closing probably 25 to 30% of people, and you're charging at least these price points. That's a really good point you want to be at. So that's a video right here for how to price your coaching program. Hope this helps. If you are a coach and you want to add at least 10 to 30K a month to your coaching business, go ahead and click the link below. And yeah, check out what I do. I could probably help you out. But if not, no worries. You're amazing, and I'll see you in the next one.